Good morning, everyone. Bruce here. Our real estate phrase of the day, we're going to discuss forms of ownership. We have severalty, co-ownership, and then community property are the three forms of ownership, primary forms of ownership. And we're going to discuss severalty and co-ownership today. So let me do a little bit of reading of definitions. First off, as a real estate agent, we do not give advice on how you should hold title. That's something that you need to decide for yourself. If you need to, you certainly could talk to an attorney about that. But anyway, let's go over these definitions. Forms of ownership. First one, severalty. An interest that is severed from all others. The owner holds exclusively the bundle of rights. No other party has an interest in the ownership or transfer of title to the property. So basically, severalty means you are the only owner. No one shares that ownership with you. You have all the rights, and that one's pretty straightforward. Now, co-ownership is broke up into a couple areas. You have tenancy in common and joint tenancy. So co-ownership, the title to real estate is held by more than one owner. Sounds pretty straightforward. So tenancy in common has no survivorship between owners. They have equal rights to possess the property even though they may not own equal shares of the property. Each owner has the ability to control the individual ownership interest. An owner can sell an interest without the consent of the other, unless all parties have agreement stating otherwise. A tenant in common will the tenant's interest upon death. It does not automatically go to the surviving owners. So unlike the next one that we're about to discuss, the joint tenancy, I mean, when someone passes away and you are a tenant in common, that portion of ownership does not automatically will to you. You would have to, it does not get left to you. You'd have to actually go through a probate process, potentially. So the second one is joint tenancy, survivorship between owners. A joint tenant can only be created by will or deed. This means either the will of a deceased person dictates that the heirs hold title to the property as joint tenants, or a property deed will list the owners as joint tenants. Total unity exists when all owners have equal rights to possession, hold an equal ownership interest, acquire their interests at the same time, and by the same document. Joint tenants enjoy a right of survivorship. This means that when one joint tenant dies, that deceased joint tenant's interest automatically vests in the surviving joint tenant or tenants without going through probate. So once again, another kind of a long-winded definition, but so you have your tenancy in common does not, if you are a tenant in common with someone, you do not automatically get their share of a property upon them passing away. Whereas with joint tenancy, if you are a joint tenant with someone and they pass away, then you get their share of the property without having to go through probate court. There is an awful lot more to that. I am just trying to kind of cherry pick the high points to give a little bit better understanding. The law presumes tenancy in common when more than one person owns a property, if nothing is expressed to the contrary in the deed. The owner holds a property as tenants in common and each tenant has an equal right. So that's in lieu of having very specific language. Then the courts are going to assume tenancy in common. The third form of ownership, and we'll discuss that tomorrow, is marital property. So, and every state's a little bit different, so we'll just kind of touch on what the book says about marital property and kind of the way Wisconsin looks at it.